Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What's your perfect night? Maybe you're settled at home alone or with loved ones, covered in blankets, about to watch your favorite show. It's cozy, it's calm, and you're ready for a perfect night in. Therapy can feel a bit like that. A place for comfort. A time when you replenish your energy and take care of yourself. And hey, you can even do it without leaving that same cozy couch. This season is the perfect time to give therapy a try, right from the comfort of home. With BetterHelp, get matched with a tailored therapist based on your needs and preferences, entirely online. Designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a therapist, and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find comfort this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com to learn more and save 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com.
Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews, it's your number one source. Sports Card Nation, the hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to episode 316 of Sports Card Nation. First off, I hope your holiday, your Christmas, whatever you celebrate, was a good one, and you got to spend time with family, as I did. Always, to me at least, always important. Before we, close the show, I want to also say we're before New Year, so Happy New Year's to you and yours, and a safe one, and make 2025 a great one, if at all possible. So there, a little house cleaning there, and Evan Parker's back this week to the conclusion of our two-part conversation from on Mantel, and great collecting community. Was great before their new app, and now even better with their new app. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but it's not going to be all about that. We're going to chop up some hobby as well. So Evan's a great guy. Glad to have him back on again. And we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and then we'll be back with Evan.
For nearly 50 years, Sports Collectors Digest has been the voice of the hobby, bringing you comprehensive coverage of the sports collectible industry. From industry news, auction results, market analysis, and in-depth stories about collectors and their collections, Sports Collectors Digest has everything you need to know about the hobby. SCD is also your leading source for listings of sports collectible dealers, card shops, card shows, and the latest from the industry's top companies. To check out all the latest news or to subscribe to the hobby's oldest magazine, visit sportscollectorsdigest.com or call 1-800-829-5561.
All right, now the conclusion of our conversation with Mantel's Evan Parker. And one thing I love about Mantle, and I use it, I've been a little slacked off on it recently. We're going to talk about something that is out now that might get more people involved, which is it'd be good. But you said from the early on, like, you want this to be for different, for whoever collects whatever you collect. Yeah. And I when you said that, I thought that was really cool, because sometimes that isn't always the case with a new venture. And again, to each their own. I'm not saying but you sort of want it to be for as many people who collect whatever it is you may collect. And that's not always the case on a community or sites. And that was right from Jump Street. That was something that was important to you, and that you wanted to make known. And I think people appreciate that. Not everyone, maybe like you said, maybe there's people who just collect art cards or who knows, what they might collect. And so the platform can be for anyone who wants to share what they collect and enjoy, and then grow that community even larger than it already is. And I think that's important to know, and it's important. It shows you care. You're not just tunnel vision with just one thing and only trying to appeal to just a certain aspect. We're trying to appeal to as many aspects as you can. And I think that just is, highlights kind of what you're about and how the broadness of the hobby.
I appreciate you saying that. In truth, when we came up with the idea originally and we started playing around with it, Alexis Ohanian, Brett Montgomery, partners in the venture, we had talked about the idea not for the long term, but just to launch. Would it be better to pick one category, one topic, and just be like the best place for it? And then if you get to like critical mass and people are like, you have to be on this for that one thing, then other people start talking and you build it for more and more categories and you kind of grow a little bit like that. And so we had talked, should we just build something and the only thing that Mantel is for is basketball card collectors? And even we can go even more narrow and just say it's for modern and ultra modern basketball card collectors. And that's the only thing that we're talking about here. And you could argue that had we gone that way, we would have been great at basketball card collectors, and maybe it would have been easier for us to launch, because if you cared about basketball cards, you would have felt like you had to be there. And then little by little, we could have grown. But the funny thing is, when we launched when we decided not to do that, we were like, all right, that's too narrow, and you can't expect somebody to only be, for the most part, everybody who I know who collects basketball also has some baseball or football or tickets or memorabilia or something totally different. And so you're going to tell this person that you can only post about this, but then you got to go somewhere else if you want to post about something else and that you love. It just didn't feel right. And the day that we launched, we had people posting about things that I couldn't have expected. I couldn't have predicted. And they found us and they said, you know what, like, this is the thing that I love, or this is the way that I collect. There's a group of guys on the platform that collect early 1900s, late 1800s pirate cards of Blackbeard, the pirate. They collect president cards. And so there's a whole vintage non-sports group. If you had asked me, in February 12th, the day before we launched, do I think that there are people out there who are going to join Mantel who collect cards about pirates? I would have said, are there cards about pirates? I didn't even know it was a thing, let alone was I building for it. And so I think that that's been one of the cool things for us to realize, is that we couldn't have predicted the way people were going to use it. We can't know every single category that there are that people collect. When I was walking around with two of the guys on the team, Q and Shane in Cleveland, I met somebody who's a collector of card packs. He saw that I forgot which one of us bought some wax, and we were opening up some cards. And the guy came up to us and he's like, do you want the pack, just the physical, no cards in it, just give me the wrapper when you're done with it, because I collect the wrappers and I don't have a wrapper from that set. And I'm not talking about like, this wasn't 58 Bowman wrapper or anything like that. It was probably 2023 Topps Update. Nothing rare, nothing that special, but that's what he collected. And you can't presume to know how everybody's going to approach the way that they collect it. Somebody collects it.
Yeah, he collected it, and he didn't have that, and he knew you were to probably just throw that away. But hey, I can now check it off my list without necessarily having to buy a box or a pack. And there are people. It's a great point, Evan. There are people who collect wrappers. There are people who collect empty boxes of products from vintage era all the way up to. I know a gentleman who's trying to get the Topps run of every flagship box from the first Topps release to whatever the current one is. And he's got some holes to fill, but that's what he does. And that's how he enjoys collecting in the hobby. And again, to each their own. And that's where this platform can help people, because if someone else is doing the same thing and, hey, I got an extra of this and you have an extra of that, let's make a trade, or where, this person has it and you can direct them, talk to him and you might be able to acquire it. And there is, for as long, like, again, I'm the old man on the porch here, but for as long as I've done it, right, there's new wrinkles and new ways to collect things, and especially when you factor in non-sports. I know people collect like Olympic people who were played in like the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
You have like you said, presidential figures, actors have appeared.
I met somebody a couple days ago who he collects two sports stars. And so it doesn't matter, it could be Jackie Robinson would qualify, based on football.
Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Yeah.
Right. There's so many others. Right. And that's how he collects. So everybody just does it differently. And that's for me.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit the Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. What's your perfect night? Is it curling up on the couch for a cozy, peaceful night in? Therapy can feel a bit like that. Your comfort place where you replenish your energy. With BetterHelp, get matched with a therapist based on your needs entirely online. It's convenient and suited to your schedule. Find comfort this season with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com.
That's the fun part.
Yeah, to me, that's the beauty of the hobby is you have so many choices. And even if you get bored of one, you can try something else. And then always come back. You can always move around the hobby, navigate the hobby as you see fit. You kind of touched on it. We have Fanatics kind of here. Some of the licensing is going to fall their way here in the next year or two. And they're going to really, out of the 4 major sports, they're going to have 75% control of that. I'm sort of old-fashioned. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, as a Topps kid with Topps in my backyard. Where it's funny because I grew up where Topps sort of controlled the market, and then that changed when new companies came along. Fleer, Upper Deck, Donruss, Score, Pacific. The list goes on and on. I'm leaving people off, not on purpose, but various companies were making like the same sport and competing against each other. I don't know if we'll ever see that again, Evan. I'd like to, from a selfish point of view. I'd love to. So I'm a little, cautious here with Fanatics / Topps. Sort of 3/4 of the market's going to be, in their column. Kind of your thoughts on that. As a collector too, yourself is are you, I'm nervous. I don't want to say nervous. I'm not losing sleep, but I've seen where the control is heavy in one company, and then I've seen it where we had numerous companies competing. I like the latter rather than the former because I think it breeds the most competition when you're trying to beat your opponent or your competitor, if you will, on making the best product for that sport. When you're sort of the only game in town, I'm not saying that, Fanatics will do this, but there's more of a chance of kind of sitting on your hands or like, hey, you have to buy our stuff because no one else is baseball, football, or basketball cards anymore. It's us or no one as far as licensing goes. So kind of your thoughts on the landscape as it's about to change.
Yeah, I grew up in the junk wax. When I was a kid, I collected baseball, but basketball was my kind of favorite category. And Upper Deck, Fleer, Flare, Skybox, NBA hoops. Then I know some of them were owned by the same companies and everything, just different brands. But when I look at my collection from when I was a kid, there's just a lot of variety in the way things looked and in the kind of the way that the cards were put together and the things that you can get from each of them. I thought it was really cool. And you could have your favorites, but it was just interesting to have that many different options. So I think options would be great. I to your point, I don't think that it's going to go back that way. I think there's too much money involved, and the licenses are too expensive. And Fanatics, owns a lot of them now. I'll be happy though when the NBA is with Fanatics, because I think as long as Fanatics is going to put out basketball cards, I'd rather them put out licensed ones. And I don't love the current, I didn't buy much of actually I only bought one blaster of this year's Fanatics product, for the Topps product for basketball, because seeing Wemby or whomever with a shirt that doesn't have their team name on it, to me is just not something that I enjoy nearly as much as when it's a licensed one. So if they're going to be making basketball cards, then I'd like them to have the team logos on there. And I don't think Panini's going to be doing that same sort of thing. So maybe maybe in general, more choice is better for the consumer. But if we don't get choice, then I just want the best possible product.
Yeah, and I don't want to crap on them. There's the other side of that coin too, Evan, is we're going to see brands come back, right? Topps Chrome Basketball is going to come back, like you said, and it will have the logos and the team names, and it won't be airbrushed and that sort of thing. So we're going to see the return of many products, Finest Basketball and all those, Stadium Club basketball. I'm sure you remember that. So those things will come back. So I don't want it to be just be slant, in a negative way. There's going to be pluses and minuses to it. I guess my hope is that Fanatics / Topps does their products right. It's like any company.
I think they
want them to do the best job, and I think the only way, like you said, after kind of I mentioned that, because I get asked that question all the time, like, John, will we ever see multiple companies, multiple brands doing the same sport again like it has been years ago? And my answer, my honest answer is I don't think so. I think the only way that happens, and I'm not saying I'm even rooting for this. I generally, as someone I consider being a nice human being, I don't like to root against people, especially on the human element when there's humans doing jobs and you don't want them to lose. I think the only way that happens, Evan, is if Fanatics starts losing money, or the ventures aren't profitable, and then they may consider selling licensing or even subleasing it, if you will, or not. I know their licenses are multi-year, double-digit year, but they could also work out deals where they could sell that off with the Players Association's blessing and the league's blessing, if it came to that. I think that's the only way in the near future that ever happens. I don't expect that, gun to head. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying that's the only way it would happen. I don't expect it. But when they announced it, it was announced as pretty much like a 20-year deal. And as someone who's been married 25 years, I know how long 20 years is. And so I just thought, man, that's just way too long. Why couldn't you have done a 5 or even 10-year? It's still double digit. But 20 years, it's just a long time, especially with a company. I know Fanatics is established, but they're not, at the time, they weren't established in the card time. They hadn't even acquired Topps yet. And I just thought, man, that's a long time to hook up with someone on paper before you don't even know what they're capable or not capable of. Like, I thought maybe, start with a 5-year, and if those 5 years are great, then just like a lot of contracts, you just renew it or make it longer, then go to 15 years, and then it is a 20-year. Totally. So that part, again, they don't care what I think, but that part, when I heard it, and being the old-fashioned, kid from Brooklyn who grew up with Topps in his backyard, that kind of, again, I'll say made me nervous, but that kind of, perked my ears up. Like, that's a long time to lock in with somebody. Yeah. And, so I listen, I want what's best for the hobby, whatever that looks like, and so, again, for me to root against the company, it's just not normally my MO, but I am, I guess I'd say I'm cautiously, it depends on the day, but I try to be cautiously optimistic. But I'm sure I have my days where I'm cautiously pessimistic too. And I just hope when all the smoke clears and the dust settles that the hobby's in a good place, and where people, more people can partake in it than get shut out or locked out. That comes with price points and availability and all that stuff. So we'll see. It's going to be, I think you'll agree with me, it's going to be an interesting, especially once these licensing fully goes over their way, to see kind of what happens, how they handle it, and what the perception is, right? Again, I always say on this show, we actually have more power because we have the power of our wallets in person to either buy a product and support a product or not, if we don't like the direction it's going in. So we don't always, I think, use that all the time, but we have that in our back pocket if we
absolutely.
So it's going to be interesting.
Time for a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Hobby Hotline is the hobby's only live interactive call-in show. Join some of your favorite hobby personalities every Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, to discuss the hottest hobby topics. If you miss us live, catch us after the fact on all major podcast platforms. Follow us on socials at Hobby Hotline.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
231. That's the average number of apps used by many companies. This leads to a lot of context and tab switching that drains employee focus and costs your company. Grammarly can help. Grammarly's AI works in over 500,000 apps and websites, making it easy for your team to write clearly and on brand without disrupting workflow. Join 70,000 teams who save an average of $5,000 per employee per year using Grammarly. Go to grammarly.com/enterprise to learn more.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's return to the show.
Kind of teased, you got something new. It's just out at the time of us recording this. By the time this airs, it'll be out a few weeks. I'm going to download it. I kind of wanted to talk to you without playing with it first, and that way you can do more of the talking than me. But the first the first edition of the app, which I think is very cool. And I'll be downloading it after we're done tonight and playing with it. And we're in a social world, and apps are we all have them on our phones and laptops, and it's just second nature. Talk about leading up to the launch. It's now live. It's on not only iOS but Android as well. I'm an Android guy, so sometimes that's not always the case. So kudos there for covering both of those sides. Kind of talk about the process, and was that something like you knew that was always going to be? It wasn't an if, more of a when type of deal.
Yeah, it was always a when. When we got to, I'll tell you, in the National and Fanatics Fest, we talked to a lot of users and a lot of potential users. And the number one question that we got from everybody was, when's the app coming out? Because going to a website works if you're sitting at a desk and at a computer, but it's not as easy on the phone. And 70% of our users were using Mantel on the phone in an experience that wasn't built for the phone. And so we just realized in those conversations that while we always knew we were eventually going to have an app, it was further down the line when we were going to build it. But at the National Fanatics Fest over the summer, it was clear, if we want this to work, if we want people to use it as much as we want them to use it, let's give it to them in the easiest form possible, which is a mobile app. I want them to be able to open up their phone and see our icon and click on it because they are excited to see what's new there. I want to be able to send them push alerts if they follow Sports Card Nation, and they want to see that, John just posted something. I want that to be something that they get as an alert on their phone that they should go open it up and go see what's new. So it was something we knew was going to happen. We're really excited that it's out. The whole thing is free. It's on Android. It's on iOS. It's in the App Store now. It's brand new. People are trying it out for the first time, giving us feedback. We're finding bugs. We're finding areas to improve. People, were saying to us,
and not to interrupt. To interrupt you, Evan, I just, that's any app. That's,
sure.
Anytime something first launches, and any app, or I shouldn't say any, most apps will have updates and things added to it, and
we
expect bug fixes. So
we like it, by the way.
So
we want to build this with the community. I want your feedback, because your feedback will help me and the team figure out what it is that we want to do or do differently. People are telling us on launch date that they wish that we had the ability to zoom in on pictures. We hadn't built that yet. Well, we're going to have an update, and by the time that people are listening to this, it'll be out that you can zoom in on pictures. And so it's not revolutionary. We're not changing, we're not splitting the atom here, but we're doing our best to make sure that when we hear from people, when we get their feedback, we're moving as quickly as we can to deliver the things that they want.
Yeah, no doubt. And as the platform grows, so will the app with it. And you make a great point. I'm more of a phone guy, and I use a laptop. I don't want to make it sound like I don't, but that phone, right, is something we always have whether it's in our hand or in our pocket. Even as my day job as a teaching assistant, all of us teachers have a group chat so we can communicate from different rooms, right? I mean, a phone is really an extension of us, even more than a laptop, because, while we may carry our laptop in a backpack or a messenger bag, our phone, we don't always take that bag. The phone is always with us. And I know for me, I'm more apt, to use an app rather than do something. If the choice is there between the two, let me put it that way.
You and me both.
More apt to use the app.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm going to use this tonight, and I'll report back to you. But I know it'll make me more active. Something I try to do, because I really do appreciate Mantel and you and what you got going there. But it'll be easier for me to do it via phone than via computer. If
it is for me too. I'm much happier already.
Yep. The phones are really little, just mini, pocket computers at this point, with all the bells and whistles they come out with each incarnation of phones. And, phones have even replaced, in many cases, video cameras. So it's a pocket computer, and I just use it a lot, and as a lot of people do. And I think it's going to be, wonders for the community of Mantel and the platform, and like you said, even yourself. So I think this is going to be that next step that pushes the platform forward, and look forward to kind of seeing it grow. I mean, I don't want to give away all the secret sauce now that the app's out. Obviously, there'll be updates to that. Anything else kind of maybe on the horizon, or
Yeah, we're working on what we call groups, just like niche communities within Mantel. So if you were, NBA junk wax, or you were trying to, 72 Topps baseball set collector, that we'll have groups that you can go into to get, sort of like a Facebook group or a Discord server about a specific topic. So we're working on that now, so people can go even deeper with people who share similar interests, and that'll be great to help build niche communities. And we know people are going to trade and transact on the platform, and so we want to build ways for them to be able to do that safely, make sure that they're not going to get scammed, make sure that they're going to have a good experience if they're going to be using our platform for that sort of thing. It's really important to us that Mantel is a positive place, free of trolls and free of scammers, and it's a place that you can go and just know that this is your time to have fun and your time to enjoy your hobby and the things that you love, versus something that causes you stress.
Yeah, no doubt. The hobby is supposed to be fun and kind of take a break from that stress that we all usually have to go back to at some point. But it's nice to get away from it and take our mind off, and that's what the hobby's about. All right, I sometimes I don't do this every episode, but I do sometimes will ask a guest what I call the hobby magic wand. It's obviously, unfortunately, it's not real. I wish it was a real tangible thing, but like it sounds like, it's a magic wand pertaining to the hobby. You get one wish with it. You can use it in any form. There's no really wrong answer. I'm giving it to Evan Parker. You have the hobby magic wand. What are you doing with it?
So I'm gonna not be selfish on this one, even though there are a couple things that I really would like to add to my collection that I would want to use it for.
I think you're better than me because I've never really asked myself. I'm always asking everyone else, but go ahead. Go.
I think if I had the magic wand, I would want to guarantee a hit in every box of wax. It doesn't mean it has to be something like incredibly expensive, but basically get one card or 2 or 3 cards max that equal the cost of the product, so that you can guarantee as you walk out of a card show or a card shop that what you have in your hand, if you spend $100 on it, you got at least $100 in value. I guess it's a little bit selfish because I've got really bad luck opening wax. I'm almost guaranteed. I opened Stadium Club last night. I got nothing out of it. Nothing, no parallels, nothing numbered, nothing auto. So I just wish that wasn't the case. And I think it'd make people feel a lot better about opening wax to begin with. If you just knew I might not get something that's worth thousands of dollars, but I probably have at least $100, $150 worth of product in here for $100, $150 hobby box or retail blast or whatever it is.
I love that. Because that encompasses, all of us, right? That do open wax or open packs. And I agree. I always say, like, listen, the fun is one of the most funnest things you can do in this hobby is open a pack of cards. But sometimes, for what these products cost, and when that smoke and dust settle and clear, and you sometimes scratching your head saying, "Man, I'd like a mulligan there." Not all the time, but I think more often than not. Let's put it that way. And so I love that. If like you said, maybe you're not going to get that 4-figure card every time, but you at least will walk away not feeling as disappointed, or you may be very happy, right? That, hey, like I got a couple cards that definitely worth the box. It was fun rip, and I think positive experiences go a long way,
absolutely,
in the hobby, into retaining people. I've had people message me, or I've even directly say, I don't even open wax anymore, John. Like I just buy the cards I want, and so. And as someone has opened a lot of packs in their lifetime, that's a lot of fun. It's an adrenaline rush, and going through the cards and seeing what the next one is. But sometimes when you take it over the head so many times, people shy away from that. And hopefully, I would love that. I think that's a great idea, and I hope Fanatics is listening and trying to. Again, every box is different, and it's random. I get all that, but to make that experience as positive as can be, and that that's the first. I've asked a few people this question. That's the first answer of that kind I got, and I love it. So I think it's important, and I think it's would go a long way if that would actually happen. So I like it. Like you said, you weren't selfish with it, and so again, very, very cool. Well, Evan, listen, as you approach your February will be a year of Mantel. Now the app is live. I'm sure that's going to be huge for you and the platform and everyone using it, myself included. Continued success. But as I always do, I give the guests sort of the final word here. Give out socials where people can find Mantel, find you, find the app. No cut. Take as much time as you need here. Get that information out to everyone listening.
I appreciate it, John. So we're at ONMANTEL. Spelled like the mantelpiece, MANTEL. So on Mantel on all the social channels. If you go to the App Store in Google, if you go to the App Store in iOS, it's the Mantel. Just type in Mantel into the search bar, and our app will come up. And then we're on mantel.com if you want to check us out on the website. Again, everything's free. Grab a username, a lot of good usernames are left. It's not like you can probably get your own name in a way that you can't on a lot of these other sites. So it's a really fun, non-toxic experience that you can just geek out with other collectors. And I hope people give us a shot and come hang out. You're on mute, John.
Yep. You don't need me telling you this, but I think the app's going to take you right to that next level. I know, from me being a little bit, as a human being, where I think we're inherently lazy. I might be a little bit more than the average guy, but the app's going to, I think that'll make the ease of use for everyone, including myself.
I hope so.
More.
I
expect you're going to see even more activity than you're already getting. And like I said earlier in the conversation, for folks listening, whatever you collect, right, this platform will have your bases covered, and it's gonna grow. It's already growing. I think the app will just expedite that even more so. So again, continued success, and I'll have you on again, and we'll kind of. We'll talk about what's next and where Mantel is at that time. Thanks
for having me on, John. It's a lot of fun.
Likewise. Awesome having Evan back on the show as Mantel grows, and now they have the app. Check out that platform, and again, it's not just for cards. I mean, cards is a big thing there, don't get me wrong, which is awesome. But whatever you collect, there is a community there. So even if you have friends that aren't card collectors, but they collect other things, watch it, whatever it might be, put the word out about Mantel. So again, thanks to Evan for sharing some of that insight and chopping up some of the hobby with us. Next week, we're going to have Alex Tressler, Army ATC 22, joining the show, and he's one of the busiest guys in the hobby as well. We're going to hear from our Hobby is the People announcer of the week, and then some closing thoughts as we wrap up this week's episode.
Time for our Hobby is the People announcer of the week.
Hello, we are
Grant, Rory, Annie,
and we are
Lakeside Collectibles.
Please remember,
the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People announcer of the week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
That's a wrap for this week. Huge thanks to you, the listeners out there, because without you, there is no us. If you like the show, we truly appreciate positive reviews. Big ups to our great guests who drive the show and our awesome sponsors who make it all possible. Sports Card Nation will be back next week, but don't forget to catch either Hobby Quick Hits or Card Mentions coming up on Monday. I'll leave you with this. How do we change the world? One random act of kindness at a time. Remember, the hobby is the people.
Hi, I'm Isaac Albert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleever. My wife and I started the Penny Sleever with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair prices. We offer a full range of hobby supplies and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 260-point magnetic for that oversized patch card, or a slew of semi-rigids for your next PSA submission, the Penny Sleever has you covered. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off your first order. That's SCNation for 10% off at thepennysleever.com. The Penny Sleever. Top quality supplies, fair prices.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com, or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Kroger Delivery makes it easy to do your holiday shopping in a jingle. There might be a lot on your to-do list, but thanks to Kroger Delivery, you can get everything you need delivered straight to your door at the same great prices you'd find in store. Our refrigerated trucks always ensure that your groceries arrive fresh. And right now, you can save $20 on your first order of $75 or more and get free delivery with a Boost membership. Restrictions apply. See site for details. Kroger, fresh for everyone.